Welcome back to Turning the Mirror podcast, and here at the hot seat is myself, Owuoth Kaboko, and my co-host, Olengo Kwach. And today we are drawing focus into the war at the Democratic Republic of Congo. It is something that has escalated in the past few days, and we've seen embassies being banned by very furious protesters in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And today we want to unveil the real causes behind this war. And again, also a fact that Kenya is being accused to be taking part in this war. So we want to see the real facts and the truth behind all this. And Olengo Kwach will take us through the causes and explain to us everything that we actually need to know.
Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very much. You know, I'm a lover of history.
Okay.
And this story is quite interesting, though sad. I'll first of all categorize these factors into three main divisions. I'll divide them into historical, economical, and geopolitical factors. So when we look at the historical context, we have the post-colonial instability. Remember, since independence, which the then Zaire, today it is known as the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. When they had their independence in the 1964, in the 1960, they faced governance challenges under leaders like the then president, Mobutu Sese Seko. And Mobutu Sese Seko, his corrupt rule, which actually they experienced this from 1965 to 1997, weakened institutions. And as a matter of fact, it increased the ethnic tensions. Do you know anything about Mobutu Sese Seko?
Of course, we've heard about him in music.
In music.
Yeah,
And,
Congolese music.
and actually, we hear people say that you always have a good side of Mobutu Sese Seko. What the whites could say, that he was maybe dancing to the music.
They dance, they do music at night. During the day they sleep, so when they sleep the miners mine the minerals.
Actually, I'll bring you to that is also one of the points. But for now, as we look at the historical context, let me take you to Rwanda, the genocide that happened in Rwanda in 1994. This is something that was seriously engaging, and it was between two communities, that is the Tutsi and the Hutu. And so the genocide spilled over into the DRC. Remember, they are neighbors. And so the Hutu perpetrators, also known as the FDLR, fled into the Eastern Congo. And this heightened ethnic rivalries. And as a matter of fact, you know, even if Kenya today, part of its citizens move to another country, then automatically that country would be of interest to the Kenyan government. So since the FDLR fled into the Eastern Congo, so it keeps drawing Rwanda into the Congolese affairs. Then we also have the First and Second Congo Wars between 1966, between 1996 and 2003. I beg your pardon. These wars involved regional powers. That is Rwanda, Uganda, Angola, and Zimbabwe. This resulted in a big number of human deaths. So the 2003 peace deal failed to stabilize the East, actually leaving a legacy of armed groups. And so these armed groups have kept terrorizing and disturbing the peace of Congo since then. Then we also have, I can now maybe look at the causes of the current conflict. Because, of course, we've had conflict in Congo for the longest period of time, as people know it. But then this one is of high intensity. So what are the causes of the current conflict? So I'll talk about, as you know, you told us that they were dancing the music at night, dancing to the tunes of the music at night. And then during the day they were sleeping as the white men now are mining their minerals, right? So it is a fact that DRC Congo is full. It is a hub of minerals within Africa. And it is very rich in coltan, cobalt, and gold. And remember, coltan is very useful in the manufacture of electronics. And so since it is very critical in the manufacture of electronics, which are required for the developing tech industry, so these armed groups and foreign actors exploit these resources And so we have businessmen, we have individual countries financing, and even these armed groups financing the violence so that the conflict can keep growing as they benefit from the mining of these minerals. And remember, these minerals are largely found within the eastern part of Congo, which is in full control of the militia. Then we have also ethnic and political tensions. Remember the persisting Hutu-Tutsi animosities with Rwanda being accused of backing the Tutsi-led groups like M23 keeps destabilizing this country and, of course, the peace of the country. Then we have the weak governance. The Congolese, the whole state lacks control over the East. As I've just put it in my previous point, that the eastern side of Congo is under the control of these armed groups. And so the Congolese state lacks the control over that part of the country. So that creates a power vacuum. And therefore, and remember, this has been perpetuated by corruption and failed demobilization efforts, which then allows the militia to thrive. Then we also have foreign interference. We've had Rwanda being mentioned by both the UN, we have media, the narrative and all that, that Rwanda is supporting the M23. So interference from Rwanda and historically Uganda, supporting the rebel groups like M23 and RCD for security or economical gains, have also destabilized this country and led to the kind of war we are witnessing today. So also, remember, today there's this M23 group that everybody is talking about. It has become famous. The UN is talking about it. The media is talking about it. And it is being linked to the Rwandan government. Remember, it is a group that has existed for some time now. But up to around 2022, it had been controlled to some level because it was demobilized in 2013. But it re-emerged in 2022. And since it re-emerged, it has managed to capture a good number of territories, and it has also displaced a good number of people. So now that Rwanda is also being linked to it, the allegations that they are supporting this and that the troops and armed troops are also in support of it, intensifies the cross-border tensions. Remember, they are neighbors, yeah? Then there's also what we know as failed peace initiatives. The agreements, in 2013, there is this meeting that happened in Nairobi, and it had a declaration, which is famously known as the Nairobi Declaration. But whatever was declared, or whatever was in this declaration that was supposed to help DRC be peaceful, was not implemented. This is due to mistrust and non-compliance. Remember, there are those who accuse Kenya as using its coast and other individuals to take part in the business of the minerals which are found within DRC, and therefore there's that mistrust that grew. Then also, Kenya have also played part as a major peacekeeper in the continent, and maybe as part of the peacekeeping missions, at some point or some level, some people have seen it as a failed attempt. And so there's that mistrust. So because of the mistrust and non-compliance, the agreements, or what I'd refer to as the peace initiatives, have failed. So this has enabled cycles of violence year in, year out. Then we also have what is known as regional security dynamics. Rwanda has, because it has been accused of supporting the M23 in these conflicts. But then it comes and then justifies its involvement as countering FDLR threats, because this is a group we had mentioned that it's the group that fled into Congo from Rwanda during the genocide. So Rwanda says that they are trying to justify their involvement as countering FDLR threats, with the DRC accusing it of actually having interest or or ambitions in its territories. Yeah. Then Uganda is also trying to fight anti-ADF according to the Ugandan authorities. As maybe people would say that Uganda is here trying to also occupy our territories, or otherwise this is what we think, then they come and try to justify the action, saying we are just trying to fight these militia groups. Then there's global demand for minerals. We'll have to agree that, today there's this growth in the tech industry. Yeah. Everything is being computerized and the technology is growing. And so in the tech industry, electronics are used. Yeah. Even the mobile phone,
Yeah, sure.
the computers, and all this, you realize that we need coltan in the manufacture of all these electronics. And DRC is a major contributor, or this is the main country that is the main exporter to the coltan as a mineral. So every person or every company or country that has interest in the tech industry then must have interest in the Congo, the Congolese territories. So you realize that these businessmen, these countries are trying to also take part so that they benefit from this conflict. Then we have a humanitarian crisis. Since this war started, since this conflict started back then, in 2013 and even before that, we've have millions of people displaced and actually widespread of atrocities. So this has has brought about grievances and creating a lot of tension, making people form groups and then fail or have the intention to revenge. Then I'd just mention the key actors in the war that we are currently seeing. We have the M23, of course, the famous M23. We have the FDLR. Both M23 and FDLR are linked to the Rwanda. Then we have ADF, which many people link to Uganda. Then we have Codeco and Mai factions. So regional governments, that is Rwanda and Uganda, are also accused of interference. And then we have the international community. Remember the UN, we have the EU. So the UN mission, that is the MONUSCO, is criticized for ineffectiveness. They are saying that since they started their mission within the DRC borders, within the DRC territories, there is nothing effective or an impact that they might as well say that or present on the table that this is the achievement we've had. And we've had them just accuse people, say, oh, Rwanda is involved, or so and so is involved. But then what are they doing to ensure that then things are working out? Otherwise, I'd say that this war is a continuation of decades of old crisis. Just the same way as I've said, it is historical, economical, and geopolitical based. So it is sustained by resource greed, ethnic interest, and of course weak governance. So we would really have to look at it keenly without just having an eye trying to look at it as if it is only political. It stems to economics, whereby now people are interested with pocket, also historical, which we have such things across Africa, and also geopolitical.
Oh, sure. Thank you so much, Coach. And that will therefore means that for us to curb all this conflict, we must look into reforming the governance system and trying to find peace missions to bring these people together to do away with the ethnic grievances and also the act that people want to repay or for the things that have been done through history, even the M23, the tribal war within Rwanda, and also the involvement of these other governments.
And remember, peace missions can only pick if those who are involved in these missions are the people who are not being accused of being of any involvement within this conflict.
Yeah, and also now that Kenya is also being directly accused, and recently on 28th of January 2025, we saw the protesters in the Democratic Republic of Congo burn down the embassies and also the properties that were within that place. They were banned, accusing Kenya and also other countries like Uganda, the United States, even the EU, the different countries within the EU. So just keep connecting with us, that we also bring another episode explaining and also bringing you necessary factors and facts that clarify what Kenya is doing and what it has done and why it is facing all these accusations.